Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Shadowmane and welcome back to another video, folks. We are here at the Tech Cave, or the Ascension Cave, or the Final Boss Cave, whatever you want to call it. And in this episode, folks, I am going to be taking on the Alpha Overseer. I've got everything ready and prepared, and just so you guys know, I will be making a longer video, a in-depth guide on how to defeat the Overseer boss solo. And of course, when I say solo, I do mean, of course, with the use of Shadowmanes, but no other players. So of course you can use dinos. And so this is what I've got here. I've got a little otter right there. I've got some tech armor. I've got some good quality fur armor, and as you can see, I'm also wearing the desert armor as well. It does help with heat insulation. I'm going to be using the shotguns and of course a tech rifle. We've got some element for that, some ammo for the shotguns, some medical brews, a canteen, and that's pretty much it. That's what I'm going in with. Now of course, for this we'll also be using the climbing pick. It will come in handy, and you'll see why. We do need to do some climbing. If I'm not going to show it in this episode, I am going to show it in the full guide on this. I'm going to put a full guide out. It might be somewhat longer than this particular episode, and I'm going to be using the footage from this episode itself as well. So we've got everything that we need. It's time to summon, well, open the gate, so to speak. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to glide down to the bottom. Alright, here we go. Now, of course, because I'm going to be using the exact same footage for the guide, I will be doing certain things like this, for example. So right here, I'm going to be showing off the type of armor that I'm going in. So I'm using the desert armor just to help with the heat. And from this point, one jump, we enable the glider, and to our right you can see it gets techie right here. So we're going to take a sharp right turn. There's like a pit, and right now we're going to dive. We're going to aim for those things right there in front of us. Bam. Now sometimes you have to keep in mind that here you may have some dinos coming with you as they try and chase you. We're going to go for these portion right there. We do want to do a big circle because this thing does have a giant turning radius, and now we're going to just follow this river of lava to the end of the cave. And this is kind of pretty much it. This is what we're going to do to get to the end. It's when we get to the end that things get a bit tricky, because of course there's a specific section that does not allow us to bring out our Shadowmanes from the cryopod. So we do have to clear out a good chunk to where we can actually uncryopod the dinos that we're going to be using in the fight. This is done on a server. If you're doing it solo, you can probably do it without the use of dinos, but because this is on a server, the boss does have a lot more HP. So right there, there's a little perch that we can land on, like so. Perfect. And this is the tedious part, because we have to take care of all of the creatures that are on the path, so that then we can land on the path and bring out all of our tames. In preparation for this, I also have the otter that I'm going to be using in a cryopod. So right there, so this whole section, so from the gate, it's all littered with all sorts of dinos. And if you know anything about this particular tech cave, they tend to be like level 495 or something like that, something stupid. Right there, sometimes there's a bunch of creatures that we need to clear out, but that's also where we are going to uncryopod the creatures. We can't uncryopod anything on this path that I'm showing you, so that's why we want to clear out. So this is going to be a bit tedious. There's going to be a bit of choppiness here, so I do apologize for that. What I'm going to do is basically, and I'm going to kind of put information in this video as well as in the guide. The guide will be more focused around how to deal with it, but we want to get all the dinos in the lava, kind of like that guy right there. Now, of course, the lava will do damage over time, and if you look at your health, it does slowly drop down. So this is where the medical brews come in handy. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind here is that there are a bunch of Perlovias that are dug into the ground. There are ways of actually scouting this area out so that you can check and see if there's anything you missed out. And this is where you need to be careful. This is the most tedious part of this particular fight. Of course, in the lava at my feet. If I fall from this cliff, I will be swamped by a lot of creatures, and there is still a giga down there. There's also like a little plateau, a little platform that the creatures can clump up on. As you can see right there, there we go, 496. So that is the level of them. So we want to try and get as many of these guys moving into the lava, and yeah, see if there's anything up there. I can't quite tell if there's anything up there, but I do tend to fire burst just on the off chance that I might get lucky. So it's time to bring out our magical helmet. We are going to enable the visor. That should kind of tell us what there is within close proximity. There we go, something that we missed out on. Wait for these guys to be aggroed. Okay, I think those are micro raptors. They're annoying, but not that dangerous. Of course, we definitely want to deal with them before we bring out our Shadowmanes. We don't want our Shadowmanes chasing them into the lava or anything stupid. I keep thinking that that's a dino right there. I know there's a wreck right there. Let's see if we can hit it. I'm not sure if it's done anything. Alright, so my tech rifle bullets do seem to go to that distance, but for some odd reason I'm not hitting the wrecks. Alright, so these are just fire shots. Test shots. Okay, time to swap out to the good old trusty shotgun. There we go, that's what we wanted. What's he doing? What's he doing? Nope. Okay, so this is going to be one of those creatures that is going to be non-compliant. There's another creature right there. Perfect. And as you can see, there are dinos that are dying out in the lava, so that's kind of good. The lava's doing some work for us. Okay, so it's time to check to see if we missed anything out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the glider suit. I'm going to kind of glide in a big circle. If we see anything highlighted by the tech visor, we're going to shoot at it, and hopefully we hit it and it ends up following us into the lava, which is what we're going for. Okay. We have the micro raptors right there. Try and get a couple of hits on them. I don't see anything anymore, so that's kind of good. We have wasted quite a bit of time. That Rex was a big pain in the butt. I'm going to land here just for good measure. Again, I keep trying to go for that exit, which is kind of annoying. So Perlovia is dead. That's good. There's one that's kind of just hanging about there, so might as well get that guy dealt with. There we go. I think everything's alright. Just pop a couple of medical brews just to help us out. Let's see. Right, I don't see anything of immediate worry. There's that Perlovia right there. But I think we'll be alright. We don't have to kill everything off. We just need to make sure it doesn't get to us. Alright. Let's go and get those micro raptors and start popping out some of our dinos. We do need to get a move on. We are running out of time, and the time at the top does actually carry on into the boss fight. So we do want to get through this as quick as possible. Alright. Micro raptor down. One more. We're just gonna put a big burst into it. So 496, that should be alright. No Perlovia's following us. That was the one thing I was worried about. I think we should be alright from now on. The other section I worry about is that pillar and exactly what is behind it. So there's a Dillo right there. There we go. Dillo down. I do try and get them from a distance just because, well, I don't know how many shots it'll take to take one of these creatures down, so I do want to give myself that extra leeway in case they do make a run for me. You know, I do want to have the chance of being able to get out of it and deal with whatever potential dangers there are. Just looking out for that Perlovia, basically. Alright, we should be alright. The scanner's picking up a couple of things, so right there is what I worry about. There sometimes is a bit of a clump of creatures there. We'll see exactly what we have when we come around this corner. We should be out of range as well. When I say out of range of their aggro. So far so good. It is looking mighty good. Okay, so it's time to pop out our cryopods. This will take a while, so there might be a bit more choppiness, but around here, so where the crosshairs are, this is where we can start using our cryopods, and kind of try, I'm gonna have to try and throw them ahead, if that makes sense. So in front of us, basically, is what I meant to say, because otherwise it does not want to use, well, it won't allow us to use the cryopod, so that's kind of sucky. So I'm going to try and get this done in, I'd say, maybe 2 runs. Should shorten the amount of time that we waste at this portion to get our creatures out. I'm also going to have to bring out my otter because I'm going to need it for the final boss arena. It does get mighty cold in there. See if I can squeeze a couple more out. Okay, this is what we have right now. So this is batch number 2. And it's time to get these guys shifted. Can I get out of here? I'm not going to risk it. We don't want to accidentally jump in the lava. So I'll take this guy here at this end and try and kind of wedge him out. There we go. Perfect. Have all of them follow us. And we're going to try and kite them in a fairly straight, have them follow us in a straight line. And that Shadowmane right there is being a bit derpy. I don't know what it's doing. Hopefully it does not aggro anything onto us, because we don't want to be fighting anything on these narrow ledges. As you can see, they do like to jump off the side, and hopefully they don't land in the lava. That's always a bad thing. If they do land in the lava though, whilst they will take damage, the good positive thing is it doesn't instant kill them. So you do have a chance of saving them by having them follow you onto land. But don't forget, we do have some dinos there on to the right in the lava that haven't yet died out, because I was just not going to bother with them. So time to swap up gear, and we're going to put in the fur set. I'm going to use the torso from the tech, and you'll see why when in the boss fight. But notice that there's no ice cube, so I'm doing alright. That's where the beaver is coming in handy. It's offering us some insulation. Obviously we also have some insulation from our wonderful fur armor that I've had prepared for this particular fight. Now don't forget, I have done multiple test runs on this. I've lost Shadowmanes, lost armor, lost loads of things, but that was stuff I was willing to lose just so I perfect this to a point where the results are consistent. And that's what I'm all about. That's what I like to do. I'm going to mention all the strategies and stuff when we do the guide, which, as I said, might potentially be a bit longer. But we are getting up to the boss, so I'm looking forward to this. And you know what? I'm quite pleased with myself, because I've seen several guides out there on YouTube, but none of them are accurate. So what I've got and what I'm going to show in the video is going to be absolutely accurate, and it's going to have consistent results. I'm going to go and check down here just to make sure I did not leave a Shadowmane behind. I am going in with a total of 19. I should have probably brought one more, but yeah. I didn't want to bring my main Shadowmane just in case things go wrong. Plus I do want to keep a breeding pair in case I lose them, or in case I lose any Shadowmanes. You know, this is the alpha that we're doing here, so you know there are still areas for concern and places where things can go wrong. Alright. Also, I think in this episode I am going to be cutting out a lot of the boss fight. I'm going to try and stick to my normal time limit, but there is a very good chance that the guide itself, well no, my idea is for the guide itself to have the entire boss fight, to show you how I deal with the boss fight, how I deal with the boss, with the ads, what I'm doing, explain to you why I'm doing it, and all sorts of things. Okay, I'm going to teleport in 14 seconds there. And you know what? It says only up to 10 survivors allowed. which is interesting because it does allow us to bring in the dinos. So that's kind of misleading, if I'm honest. Of course, the customary lag as you get into the boss arena. Arc would not be the same without it. Okay, I'm gonna. I was debating if to wait for things to load in fully. As you can see, it's very pixelated, but I don't think I'm gonna do that just for time's sake. But I do like this arena. I think this is one of the best looking arenas stroke ascension caves. Yeah, honestly, I really do like this. I think, I mean, one of the things I do like a lot about it is the fact that you can actually see the previous arenas in which you fought the boss. Now, one frustrating thing, and if I remember correctly, the Arc devs did say that they would do an Ascension type of clip for Scorched Earth. They haven't. Although that was a paid DLC, and I think that was the intention behind it, to turn it into like a Ascension type of thing. That's never happened, so it's kind of sad. I personally wouldn't mind it, but apparently when we teleport from this arena to wherever we teleport, it's actually meant to be Scorched Earth, not unless things have changed, not what's called Aberration. Right, so from now on we are going to pretend that the floor is lava. I am not going to land anywhere near it, and I'm going to let my Shadowmanes do all the work for me whilst I deal with the flying units. We have 20 minutes on the clock and counting down, or a little bit just over 20 minutes, so we should be just fine. And this gets really loud. I don't understand why they don't fix this. It's just deafening. That's how loud it gets. So you can see the pillars forming? Would you call them pillars? I don't know what they are. Anyways, let's get to the boss here and give him some company. He looks a bit lonely right there. Come on, Shadowmanes, go for it. Of course, whilst he has a shield, we're not going to do any damage on him, and that means he's summoning some ads. I am somewhat worried about the amount of damage that the ground units will do to the Shadowmanes. That is, of course, on top of the boss himself, but I think we could be potentially quite alright. So, tech rifle, not so good for these particular units right here. Oh, that is frustrating. So right now, I'm going to have to swap over to the shotgun, because when they do get close like that, I end up doing damage to myself. Now, that's not good. If we break the fur armor, we're going to start freezing to death. And of course, whilst we're flying, we can't use the medical brews. The medical brews are actually quite usable here if you mount stuff or are on the ground. And we don't want to be on the ground. A lot of bad stuff on the ground. Okay, Shadowmanes are doing just fine. Or maybe not. We seem to have some Shadowmanes kind of surrounded, so there's a possibility that we may end up losing some Shadowmanes. Oh boy, that does not look good. There's a lot of damage going on. Oh hey, we got some more of these guys. Yellow. You know what? I do like the shotgun. It does do quite a good amount of damage. So we are taking these things pretty quickly downwards. We're getting rid of them. Okay, one Shadowman. Okay, 2 Shadowmanes down. Wow. So that means I've got 17 more left in the game. So that was, of course, the defense unit. And bear in mind, they have a load of HP and a load of damage as well. Okay, there's still one more Shadowmane there by the looks of it. Okay, he is in his spider form. Try and get all my Shadowmanes on top of it. Not a lot of time remaining, but we're doing alright. I think I should be more than able to take this boss down. I did lose only 2 Shadowmanes throughout the whole fight, which is not all that bad. Okay, it's these attack units that are difficult to deal with. Their hitbox feels a bit weird. Okay, attack drone down. Leave this with 3. And of course, when they die, they drop element, because why not? I mean, it's not like we don't get enough elements from the previous boss fights anyways. But I will not touch the ground. Okay, I think we nearly have this boss. So I'm going to, for time's sake, purely focus on the boss. I'm going to ignore the attack units right now. They don't really seem to do that much damage, but we do want to get this guy down quickly. So I'm going to start unloading into him, trying to get as many shots on him, and hopefully my Shadowmanes actually follow him and not focus on other stuff. That would help, please. Okay, his health is almost drained. I want to try and catch him before he transforms into another creature right now. There we are. Oh, did not expect that to be the final hit, but that's fine. We've done it. One boss down, and I think that's pretty much it for the island, folks. We have done it for all the bosses. The dragon boss fight was the worst one for me, but thanks to Mike not dying, we have managed to defeat them all. Of course, I did have to go back and recover some of the trophies, because as you saw at the beginning of the video, they are required to start this particular boss fight. But with that said and done, I think that kind of brings us to an end here. I'm gonna try some stuff here. I'm more curious about the element to see what happens, because I don't like the idea that you're losing the element at the end of the fight, so whatever element you have on you gets removed. So I think that's kind of sad, so I'm trying to see if I can save some by putting it on the Shadowmanes and then coming back to retrieve it. But I do have element back at base, so I should be able to get back pretty darn quick. And we are treated to a nice cinematic that we have seen quite a few times, but it is still a nice cinematic. I do like these things. I remember when this first came out, everybody had so many theories as to what was going on. I think this was leading up to Aberration as well. Alright, so I'm going to the red honeycomb thing right there. See right there, that is, or looks to me, like Scorched Earth. And I think that's what the dev said at one point. Anyways, that's pretty much it. We have defeated the Overseer. Next move will be to go to Scorched Earth and just for lulz and giggles do the Manticore boss. Of course, we're going to aim for the alpha version. So I think what I'm going to do now is go and get my Shadowmanes and bring them back, and then start clearing up and moving on to Scorched Earth. That is it for this episode, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, where I'm probably going to start packing up my bags here on the island and making my merry way onto Scorched Earth. And once we do the Alpha Manticore, I might potentially go to Aberration. But whilst I'm on Scorched Earth, I do want to try and get all the notes. That's something that's kind of come across. So we'll see how we do for time. But yeah, that is it for this episode, folks. Until next time, stay safe.